guys, it's Jen with Stepping Stones of KC. I was supposed to do this video last week and I apologize. Things came up and I couldn't get to it. I wanted to talk about a few things today. I've had a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, and I wanted to touch base on some of the things that a lot of the parents have been talking about. So the first thing I've heard a lot of is my child is 5 or 6 years old and they say that they can't be tested for dyslexia. Well, signs of dyslexia can start showing up as early as 18 months. However, a lot of the places in the Kansas City area will test at 5 years old or above. Now, some of them, it's their choice, whether it's 6 or 7, but they can officially be tested as early as age 5. I do have a list of companies and individual testers that I can give to you. Feel free to send me an email or a text, and I will be happy to send that list off to you. The second thing that a lot of parents have come to me is, my child hasn't been tested yet, so I don't want to start tutoring yet. Well, I can tell you that we have to do a screening in order to see if they benefit from the Barton reading and spelling system. So if you bring me test scores and writing samples and we just sit down and we talk, there's a lot of things that I can tell you, yes, they fit the profile of dyslexia. Yes, they can start on the Barton reading and spelling system before they have a diagnosis. But if it's there, they're going to see it. So, of course, the Barton reading and spelling system and a lot of the structured literacy programs or Orton-Gillingham programs are going to help your child quickly. So the sooner you get the testing, the better, if you're looking to get your child a 504 or IEP in school. If you're not looking to get that, if you just want to get them help, you don't need to get an official diagnosis, okay? The other thing a lot of my parents have been talking about is, what is Orton-Gillingham? Well, as I said in my previous email or video, I was going to do this last week, and I love just learning more and going to webinar or taking webinars and going to different breakout sessions and just learning as much as I can, because even I don't know everything. But I found out this past weekend that in the Kansas area, they are trying to get rid of saying Orton-Gillingham and move to structured literacy. It is still the same thing. It just, in the eyes of the education world, structured literacy sounds better. And I think they can relate to it. So I want you to know that Barton reading and spelling system is a structured literacy program. Okay, it fits all of the criteria. So we're like, what is the criteria? Well, as you can see, I wrote it down. The first one is it's multisensory. So these kiddos, when we use the Barton reading and spelling system, they can see it, they can hear it, they can maneuver the tiles. We decipher, we break it down. That is multisensory. The second one is sequential. So in school, the best thing to do is to go to your child and go, why is there an E at the end of little? They're going to go, I don't know. Or if you ask them, a lot of times that E, going back to the word little, they think that the E jumps over one letter to make the vowel long, right? There are so many reasons for that E to be there. So it is taught, the Barton reading and spelling system is taught in a logical, well-planned sequence. And what I mean by that is that in lesson 1, in book 1 of the Barton reading and spelling system, we teach just the sounds. the different vowel sounds of when they're short. So your a, I, eh. And then we also teach your digraphs, which are sh, ch, f, w, k. And then we teach all of the basic consonants, okay? We just teach the sounds. We don't even apply letters to them. So once we know that they are saying all of those sounds correctly, they then will be able to graduate onto book 2. Book 2 is where we apply letters to those sounds. So then we're taking it a step farther. In book 3, we then teach them their first 2 syllable types. Now there's 7 total, but in book 3 we teach them what a closed syllable is and what a unit syllable is. We also start teaching them their first spelling rules. And this is where you really start to see those aha moments, like, oh, for instance, in the words kiss and cat, why is one spelled with a K and one spelled with a C? Well, the kids are going to learn that there are these things called watch out vowels. And it's kind of silly and I make fun of it. And, you know, if we can't make fun of ourselves, then who can we make fun of? So they learn that E, I, and Y are watch out vowels. And if a K is followed by a watch out vowel, then you have to spell it with a K. Hence the word kiss. If we would have used a C there, because that I is a watch out vowel, it would have been sis. So there is a sequential order. Once they have a solid foundation of that, we move into multi-syllable words, we move into our long vowel sounds, and we move into the more complicated spelling rules. The third one is incremental. So this means that we are building on each lesson. And it goes back to what I just said. You know, in school, a lot of times these kids spell the word little. And a lot of times they just memorize it. You know, if you ask the kiddo how to spell this word, you know, the next day or a week later, they don't have a clue. Why? Because they just memorized it. Well, we don't do that. There is a rhyme and a reason, and we build on everything. And it's taught to their needs. Number 4, cumulative. I cannot say that word to save my life. Cumulative. It is constant and consistent review. So just because they learned a spelling rule in book 3 and they're now in book 5 does not mean that we have taught, they mastered, it's done with. I am constantly bringing it up. For instance, if they have a multi-syllable word, I'm going to go to them and I'm going to say, okay, divide that word. What division rule did you use? And this may sound kind of Greek to some parents, but there are 4 syllable division rules. And so the kids are taught this. And so I asked them, what division rule did you use? What type of syllable is that? Does that syllable use any spelling rules? What is that spelling rule? So I am constantly reviewing so that it stays fresh in their mind. So that would be cumulative. Number 5, individualized. How many times have we been in school and we see these kids and you've got your, kiddo that raises their hand all the time and they know all the questions and they've got the answers right away. And then you have little Johnny over here in the corner that is just kind of hunched down and he is working as hard as he can just to keep afloat. And he doesn't really understand it. It has to be individualized. The best way for the Barton reading and spelling system to work is to be one-on-one. So I do tutor the kids one-on-one. Now I will tell you, I do not have any after-school spots open at this time. I don't see any opening up until around December, maybe a little sooner depending on when my student graduates, but I am predicting around Christmas time of 2019. So it is best that these kiddos work in a one-on-one setting. Number 6, based on phonograms. So what this means is that, like I said earlier, we teach the kids the sounds and then we start applying the letters and then we move on to syllable types and spelling rules. So you have to start at the beginning. And, a lot of times I know that I've said this earlier, but it really goes back to like the word little. Why is that E there? Well, I'll give you an inside hint. every syllable has to have a vowel. Kids don't know that. At least they don't until they start coming to me. But every syllable must have a vowel. Okay? Number 7, it has to be explicit. So we teach the kids exactly what they want to know. And it kind of goes back to when they were toddlers and they'd go to you and go, why? 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 Well, they still have those whys. They just don't voice them because they're in grade school and their self-esteem starting to go down. Their confidence is going down. They're thinking that they're dumb and they're stupid. They're coming up with excuses as to why they don't want to go to school. It's because they're struggling to keep up with their peers and they're too embarrassed to go to the teacher and to say, why? Why is this word spelled the way it is? I don't get these spelling words. Well, we teach them exactly what they need to know. We answer those whys. And I will tell you, I have been doing this for 4 years now. And I think in every single one of my students, in book 3, I start seeing the light bulb go off and they're like, you just see that weight taken off of their shoulders and they're like, oh, that's why it's spelled the way it is. And in book 4, you really start seeing it in their spelling because they've learned enough at that point, they are applying it. It's an amazing feeling. So, a couple things. Oh, the other thing I want to tell you, care teams. If your child has gone into a small group or is being pulled out for reading or is part of a care team, that is phenomenal. I love that the schools are trying to help our kiddos. I want to let you know, though, that if it is not a scientifically proven program, it is not going to benefit your child. There are things in the progress. I don't know if you've heard about the Kansas Dyslexia Task Force that is working with our legislators. They are in the process of getting things in place so that the teachers are trained on how to help every child, how they can recognize dyslexia, how they can help our dyslexic students. However, it's not in place yet. So at this time, a lot of these teachers, they mean well. They have the biggest heart. They wouldn't be in their job if they didn't. But they don't know how, okay? If it is not a structured literacy program, meaning it is not Orton-Gillingham, aka structured literacy, and it is not one of these, it does not include all 7 of these, you're wasting your time. I hate to say it, but you are. And the longer you wait to see how the school's going to do, the lower the self-confidence, the lower the self-esteem, the longer it's going to take for your kiddo to start enjoying school again. So, you know, like I said, I don't have any spots open. I'm not here to put anyone down. I'm here to spread the word because dyslexia is 1 in 5. 1 in 5. That means if you have 20 kids in a classroom, 5 of them are dyslexic. And the statistics out there are alarming. 80% of the people that are in jail are dyslexic. Why? Because they didn't get the help that they needed in school and they took a not so smart route. Our kiddos are brilliant. They have an average to above average IQ. They think outside of the box. They are, you know, you ask them questions. If you ask them the question in school, they know the answer, but they're working so hard to decode it and figure out what the question actually is that their brain is just fried by the time it comes to answering it. So if you want more information, if you need the list of my screeners, I am happy to send it to you. If you have any questions or, you know, just need to reach out for whatever reason, I am happy to help. You can reach me on Facebook or my website at Stepping Stones of KC, or feel free to call me or text me at 913-286-0717. If I'm with a student, I will get back to you as soon as I can. Hopefully this was helpful and informative, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great one. Bye.